I didn't always look at the ads at the back of the paper. Hippies would have called it my karma. A lot of folks on the road used to talk about karma as if it got them off the hook. I've never had much truck with that, as if it could all boil down to your past lives. Fred used to talk about karma as if he didn't have control over his own destiny, when he had all those advantages and that golden aura. Handy way of passing on the buck, isn't it? You've got to make your own reality. No, it wasn't karma. I just skimmed down the small ads out of boredom. I particularly liked the miscellaneous section. Sometimes people offered up handsome pieces of old furniture. Sometimes they advertised their lonely hearts. These words jumped out. A few years too late, my first thought. The Beatles had long been and gone. Everyone knew someone who'd come back from the hippie trail with dodgy bowels, claiming wisdom, and eased back into normal society. I took the train into Clapham from Surbiton. Their gaff was on the southern side of the common, easy to find because its sheer side had been sliced away like white bread by a V2, leaving one beautiful old Georgian house. Chalk white, 4 stories high, built for a family. Anton opened the door, his spectacles slipping down his nose, a book propped open in his hand, his fingers carefully placed to hold the page that he'd turned to as if it was a matter of life and death, and looked at me thoughtfully, like there were hundreds of applicants and I wasn't the only one to inquire. To interrupt his day, he pushed the glasses up his nose. I thought at the time that he owned that grand old house. He presided over the place, and there I was standing on the doorstep. What was I thinking, asking for a ride from this young bloke with a neat little beard? I wasn't fond of boys who spent too much time on their hair. That's just the way I was raised. I expected a man to be a real man, and here I was asking a favour from this scholar in Oxford brogues barely out of school. Inside it wasn't so fancy, though. It was makeshift, not quite a squat, but uncared for, encrusted pans in the sink and what I now know to be called kilims thrown over Victorian furniture. You do realise India is an awfully long way away. We stood there in that front room with all the crap cast about, old tennis shoes on the floor. So why do you actually want to go? He looked sceptical, as if I wasn't going to cut it. I realised immediately that he wanted something intellectual in answer, so I tried to play ball. I guess I'd like to know more about the Hindis, I said. The Hindus. Hindi is a language, Anton retorted. I didn't think I needed to pass a test, I replied. First impression, arrogant little twit. My face was burning with embarrassment at having been corrected, but he didn't seem to notice. I might not have all your certificates, but I know about real life, I thought. Anton peeved me. I wasn't used to being put straight by a student. No common sense, the sort of brain's only good for a game show. He'd be one of those university toffs slamming down the buzzer. Well, most of the countries we'll go through are Muslim. What about them and the differences? Shia and Sunni? Did he want a dissertation? I felt like walking away at that point. Do you really want to know why I wanted to go? To get out of the bloody country, to get as far away from Surbiton as possible. But I couldn't say that. It's good to be a little prepared. I have some books you can borrow, but first you need to meet Vera. Come on, I'll take you to see her.